Okay, they are off.
So Magnus, the world number 1, against who many argue is, or who many say is the fastest player on the planet, Andrew Tang from the USA, aka Penguin, Penguin GM. And wait a second, D4, huge blunder straight away, just a mouse slip, I think. And all of a sudden, Penguin is already up a piece here as black. And we're seeing a collapse here of the center. Magnus is gonna scramble to bring his pieces up. He's still playing. Why not play? It's bullet. Anything can happen, but you're up a piece. If you're Penguin here, you're pretty happy. B3 trying to defend, but it does give a square. The rook on A1 is available, is there for the taking. Penguin goes for it. He's now up a full rook, and I wouldn't be surprised as long as Penguin stays calm and plays good moves over the next 5-6 moves. We could see a very early resignation here from Magnus. Well, rook d8 defending. Magnus is fighting with knight d6, but nice combination. Queen takes and queen takes d6 would have simplified, and Magnus says, I'm down a rook. Penguin is an absolutely amazing bullet player. Let's take it to game 2.
Penguin takes the lead. Let's get one of my mods to maybe do a poll. I'm curious on this one. What do people think? Who will go through, Magnus or Alireza? I'll leave it up to...
Penguin.
Huh? So
Magnus or Penguin?
Yeah, Magnus or Penguin. What did I say, Alireza? Magnus...
Oh, another one of the pieces! Twice back to back he's pre-moved. And look at Andrew Tang, you can see he's kind of smiling. And it's already game 3. It's game 3. Oh my god.
Incredible stuff. I don't know what to say. I thought let's get this poll going. But Andrew Tang takes a 2-0 lead. Magnus does not look happy. He will need to refocus very quickly because we said best of 12 is a very, very quick match. If Magnus does not get, and Andrew, as we mentioned, he is one of the best bullet players in the world, and he will make the most out of this 2-0 gifted lead.
Yeah, it was just a bad pre-move twice in a row. I've never seen that before. 2 games in a row, dropping a piece like that. And it happened so fast, I'm not even sure, was it some kind of trickery from Penguin in terms of an unusual move order, or was it just a mouse, or what could it have been? But queen b3, queen takes b2. These rooks are dropping. This rook is dropping, but it's a fair trade. Rook takes c7. Magnus has the bishop pair. He is down a pawn, but he's got the more active pieces. Bishop b8 is a move that I think is very, very strong, defending the pawn. And knight c3, just giving up this rook. Maybe there was something there that we missed, but it looks to me like Penguin is just dominating this third game. Is he about to take a 3-game lead? The only thing that is in Magnus's favor is the 13 seconds on the clock. But remember, Penguin is the fastest man alive.
3-0.
That's 3-0 for Penguin. We could see an absolutely massive upset here. And
what is going on? What are we witnessing?
Well, the focus on Magnus's face right now, but he needs a result in this game.
I mean, I saw in the chat someone said that Magnus might be having issues with the mouse. He also, he had some... Saturday was not his best titled arena, but he is today in a different setting. The arena he was playing from the Spiel offices, so it's definitely not the setup, but who knows what's going on there.
The only thing that's working out here for Magnus right now is that he has got off to a great start in this position here. He's up a pawn. White has recovered the pawn, but this knight here is a little bit awkward. It's pinned. Also this knight on b5. It's hard to imagine how those pieces are going to get back into the game. h5. You don't have rook c1, by the way, because you can just take and there will be mating threats. After bishop here, we see knight c3. You cannot take like this because the queen hangs and there's a lot of threats. There's knight e2 check. There's the knight takes b1. So queen a6, trying to mix up the position. Queen b7, attacking here, making it more complicated. That's exactly what you're supposed to do in these situations. Make it complicated. Hope that your opponent goes wrong and gives you a chance. In this case, maybe Magnus has gone wrong. I'm not sure, because queen takes b1 is an option. He goes a different direction. He gives a check and then takes with the rook. Still, Penguin is fighting an uphill battle. The pieces are all very uncoordinated. Knight b6 you can take here, but the idea is that I will capture back. Rook c1 going on the offensive, and knight d5. We see pressure against the bishop, defending the pawn on e7, and all of the white pieces are here, and you can coordinate an attack. Queen d1, that's what's happening. h4 is the kind of move that black would love to play. Bishop f6, we're seeing h4, and queen here is going to be mate.
And Magnus gets on the scoreboard much needed victory, and he pulls it back to 3-1. But still a big 2-point lead for Penguin. So let's see game number 5 already. It's been all going so fast.
Simply incredible. We're seeing here very classical play, an Italian game. Magnus on the white side. Magnus is, I think, maybe the greatest player maybe of all time in 1e45 positions. Of course, players like Anatoly Karpov might have a different opinion of this, or Kramnik, but he's an excellent player in these kind of positions, especially from the black side, but of course also from the white side. And here he's put Penguin in trouble. b6 is a beautiful move. You have to take with the pawn because otherwise the rook was hanging. And now queen b2, queen here. Penguin spits back that pawn, but the idea is you couldn't take immediately because bishop takes f2. I know bishop takes f2 was supporting there. My apologies. Queen goes back to b3 to defend the pawn and attack on e6. That's why the queen goes here. Knight f5 ideas are in the air, but for now he breaks in the center. He's got a better center than black. Black's knight is not where it wants to be. The bishop is pinned. Magnus is in great shape. He's stepped the king away so that there are no x-ray problems, no tactical problems.
Andrew has also had to invest so much time into defending this position. He's down 15 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, you have to say Magnus is in great shape here. Might he even reroute a piece onto f6? Maybe that's a little bit too slow of a maneuver. He might go rook d6 and try to pile up the rooks like this. Pressure against e6. For now he threatens queen f7. The queen on g4 does a wonderful job of pressing both of these points, and the pawn drops. Knight takes g6, but Penguin is going all in with this pawn. I think knight takes g6 is going to be seen on the board very soon. He goes for a different tactic. He collects two minor pieces for the rook, brings back the knight to f3 so that he can threaten to take the pawn. This pawn has been captured, but still, this pawn is very, very annoying if you're Magnus. And rook here, queen check, knight here. The point is, if you take, I might even, at some point go knight f6 and 3 seconds on the clock against 18.
Nice game by Magnus.
Magnus is back in it, 3-2.
Alex, you've been given a new nickname. Alex Slim Shady Astani.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, but yeah, it's just incredibly exciting stuff. Magnus has picked up a pawn, by the way, here. It's, when you're commentating bullet of these players, the best you can do is just rattle out as many words as possible as you can and hope you catch some of what they're thinking, because they just play so fast. There's so many ideas, and it's just difficult to keep up. Here we see the pawn on e5 has already dropped. So Penguin did a great job of recovering the pawn, but the pawn on c4 is dropping, and Magnus, I think, is in great shape here.
Yeah. If he pulls this one back, the match is already tied 3-3. So, and Penguin with the white pieces will really be looking to hold on, because he got off to such a great start with a lot of gifts, a lot of bad pre-moves by Magnus, but...
Wait a second, that's a big pawn. Maybe he thought he couldn't take it because bishop takes, but actually you had that knight hanging, and not only would you not lose a piece, you'd win one. So bishop e7 played, rook d8 is the intention to bring more pieces into play. Bishop g5. Magnus is just flooding the white position with pieces. Knight d5. You have to see. Look at the control of the center.
That's a full rook.
And that's going to be a full rook. And I think Penguin might resign. Yeah, he does resign.
And the match is tied. 3-3. Back to square zero.
This may surprise people, but it turns out it's quite tricky to put a player like Magnus away. Yeah, I mean, Magnus is not only the world champion, #1 player, arguably the best of all time, but he is also so clutch. Yeah. We saw that recently in his Carlsen Nakamura match, a famous match that many people watched online, and we're seeing it here, recovering that 3-point deficit.
Now with the white pieces, and I already like his position, a bit more space in the center. And he goes for the sacrifice on g5. Very interesting.
Wow, I did not expect that. That's very, very risky. Maybe he saw something that he didn't like in the alternatives, or maybe he's just saying he's confident, he's won 3 in a row and he wants to put the squeeze on Penguin. Here he's pushing the pawn, but I'm not sure. There definitely is a lot of compensation, but Penguin has very nice pieces. He's got a lot of pieces around, and bishop here, incredible move. The point is, you can take, but queen g5 in the end is going to be a problem. So Penguin goes in a different direction, but I like what Penguin's done. He's picked up this piece, and the bishop on g7, it's good, but at the same time, it's very hard to attack the king, and that's an extra piece. This knight on d5 is a full extra piece. Penguin is in control in this game.
There was a poll at the top. Can Magnus come back? The viewers believe 69%. It's not a huge, so some people believe in Penguin, but the majority thinks Magnus can come back. He already has. The match score is tied. And this is a big game now.
Yeah, d5, by the way, really nice move from Magnus, holding onto the base of the pawn. You have to be careful, because if this pawn drops, rook c2, we might see at some point, if the pawn drops, you're in trouble. But Magnus is distracting his opponent here. He's got 3 against 1. He'd love to do something. Rook e4 check. Looks to me like a possibility. Oh, no, but the bishop was defended by the rook. Apologies. So knight goes to f4. White is trying to use these pawns to his advantage. He's going to try and go rook d7 and g5, but you cannot hang on to the g5 pawn. Rook h8 is a threat of mate.
Is there a mate
but
threat?
I think there's a threat of mate right here. That's why Penguin reacts. Bishop e3, controlling this knight. Rook g4, so that when that falls, the rook doesn't fall. 4 seconds against 9. The question is, can Magnus put the squeeze on against He's got the time advantage, but Penguin is the fastest player in the world. Penguin will convert 2.6 seconds. Magnus
resigns even.
Yeah,
and that tells you just how fast is Penguin. For Magnus to resign with 2 seconds, these two, as you can see, they have played almost 1,000 games, so they have plenty. They know each other well. And Magnus shows a sign of respect and of showing, I know Andrew's got this, an eternity for Penguin, indeed.
Yeah.
And Penguin takes the lead again, 4-3. What a game, what a semi-final.
Incredible. And just at the moment that you thought, okay, this is now Magnus time, Penguin strikes. And with these relatively short matches, well, Magnus is under pressure here. He has to score something, but he's in great shape. All of his pieces are better than Penguin's minor pieces here. The bishop on f6 is an excellent piece. Hitting this knight, the pawns are a little bit loose. So if Magnus plays accurately here, I can see it going very, very wrong very quickly for Penguin. E4 is a nice move. White tries to keep things shut down with f4. I like this a6 though. The knight has to step back to d4. Black is grabbing space in the center, grabbing space in the queen side. Now the c4 square has dropped, and that's what we're seeing. The knight was under fire. Knight on c4 is going to be a lot of problems because this bishop and this is attacked. Penguin goes for some tactical ideas, but we're going to see bishop takes d4. You don't want g4 because queen g3 check was a possibility there. Queen g3 anyway, hitting this rook. And I don't know, we might see rook e8, we might see d2, the pawn actually drops, the bishop is under fire, and I think there's going to be some kind of tactical combination. Magnus is looking for the kill here. King takes f1 in order to prevent, but I think rook takes c3, bishop check. Beautiful move here. You cannot take because pawn takes, the bishop hangs in the end. Rook takes and queen e3 is the threat. We can take like this, the queen, everything is defended. Magnus is up a piece, bishop check. Beautiful, because if you take the bishop, rook c1 is mate.
And we're tied again, 4-4. Magnus with the white pieces. Can he take the lead for the first time in this match? We shall find out. We shall find out.
Incredible stuff. Knight b5 is the threat there. Stopped. Bishop b3 is trying to step that knight to c4. We might see knight to e3 trying to take use of these squares. Knight h4 trying to take use of the square f5. Maybe a4 to try and break into the king side. We've got a really interesting position on our hands with opposite side castling. We do see that a4 and exchange. We might even see some sacrifice, but black is counteracting in the center. We do see that sacrifice. Careful with queen c4. There were bishop takes f2 ideas. Queen here. Queen b7. You have to say, overall, I like Penguin's defense of the position, but the white pieces are still quite strong. The knight will have to be stepped back. f5 at some point will happen, but the king is bare for quite a long time.
Can the king try and run to the king side?
Overall, I think it's anybody's game here, but I like Magnus all of a sudden. Rook a1, bishop a7 is a huge threat. Be careful because of background threats. We might see h3 because, for example, bishop a7 takes. Bishop a7 though, king b7, necessary, queen a6 check is a possibility, but Penguin does not see the finish, and maybe Magnus doesn't either. King c7, maybe it's relatively safe, but this is huge now. Rook b1. The problem is you cannot take though because rook d1 checks, so Penguin has time. He's going into the tank because he needs to find a move, a useful move. He finds rook a8, but now you can take the queen. Now you can take the queen because there is no back rank mate. Magnus is taking his time. Bishop c5, but now you cannot take the queen. But you can take this rook instead. Okay, this is too much. These guys are such monsters. And Magnus, for the first time in the match, 5-4.
Takes the lead, 5-4. Magnus is just a point and a half away from reaching the final. Penguin, this is a big game. With the white pieces, he must be looking for a win here. All in all, I think Magnus has been the dominating player in this final. The first 2 losses were just piece drops, inexplicable piece drops. But since then, Magnus has definitely turned on beast mode.
This is an interesting decision by Penguin. He grabbed the pawn on e5. Knight f3 check, winning the queen here. Magnus wins the queen. The question is, do you capture with the queen or with the rook? Rook takes change and bishop takes queen. This position is very, very good for Magnus, who might even go rook d8, not afraid of the pins here. That's exactly what he goes for. The thing is, you cannot take twice because bishop takes h7 is the typical tactical sacrifice. Maybe we're going to see some knight h5. Knight e8, really nice move. The knight falls because the rook is pinned. Penguin got a little bit greedy with that pawn on a6, and we're going to see a victory for Magnus here unless something very strange happens. Penguin does not even try, and this is huge.
Tough spell for Penguin. Magnus now takes the lead 6-4.
And look at the opening. Oh. Fiona, your
favorite, the ring gambit. Go Magnus.
Oh! The rook drops. The rook drops. Magnus stoic. Penguin cannot be happy, and it's Penguin's turn to return. And remember, Magnus only needs a draw in order to go through. This would be nothing short of a miracle. will save Penguin.
Incredible. But what? I mean, I have to say also kudos. I think this one we are going to commentate the end of it, but Penguin needs nothing short of a miracle here. Let's remind everyone, he needs a win. A draw is not enough. Magnus only needs a draw to advance. But Magnus has been, really incredible. Like the way he fought back after going down 3-0.
And the bishop is dropping, by the way. That's a rook and a bishop. Penguin is playing out of sheer desperation, but we might even see a resignation. What can you do? There are no tricks. The king is safe. You're going to lose this bishop. And there we go. Penguin gives up on this game. Very unfortunate, but deserved win for Magnus.
Absolutely. And 7-4 is the final score here. Magnus goes through. Tough luck for Penguin. But yeah, he was 3-0 up, but then Magnus just, got a 3-game winning streak and then a 4-game winning streak. Again, congratulations to Magnus.